Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to WeLoveMetal.com. I'm very pleased to tell you we're on the phone with Tommy Rogers of Between the Buried and Me. How you doing today, Tommy?
I'm wonderful. How you doing?
Good, good. I guess I'm just going to get right into this because it's pretty exciting stuff. The Parallax Hypersleep Dialogues drops on April 12th. You guys must be pretty pleased with the reviews so far.
Yeah, it's been really good. Every record you always have that fear deep down that nobody's gonna like your music anymore. So it's always really rad when the fans express how much they enjoy it, and we're excited to get on the road and start playing some of the new songs live.
Wonderful. Now the theme explores, from my understanding, two people that are light years apart and that they have the same issues. How'd you guys come up with that?
Basically, Paul, our guitarist, he came up with the idea and kind of ran it by us all, and we thought it was an interesting story that could hold up for two records, and basically Paul and I we got together here and there and kind of wrote out different ideas that we had and kind of built upon each other, and this record's sort of like an intro to those two characters, and it's a lot more is going to be revealed next record. It's still pretty vague at this point, and I don't know. I'm excited. It's been very different as far as writing lyrics, being kind of stuck in a one story for the whole record. Normally, it's kind of whatever just pops into my mind. I go on, but it's been nice to kind of like step out of my comfort zone and try something new for sure.
Well, I'll tell you the thing that amazed me the most was a lot of concept albums, they rely on the lyrics to tell the story, but I found the instrumental so powerful in this. Was that something you guys set out to do on purpose to create that imagery?
Yeah, well, I think especially since Colors, we've kind of written like that anyway, and even back when we were writing that record, we wrote it as one piece of music, and, we've always talked about doing a concept record, and it just felt right, right now, and we thought it'd be cool to kind of do a two-part, record with this one and the next, and I don't know, I think our music's very thematic in general, and that was another challenge for me, was making sure the lyrics kind of went with those up and downs and the different climaxes and everything, and I think we did a pretty good job. It was definitely something new, which I enjoy, and I'm excited to start working on the next one.
Were you guys ever worried that the concept might be over the listener's head a little bit?
Say it again, sorry.
Were you ever worried that the concept or the theme might be just over people's heads, like they might not get it?
I mean, not really, because it's dealing with human behavior, and I think there's things that we can all relate to. That was my biggest worry when we started talking about doing this, was writing lyrics that I couldn't relate to. And, I think these two people are going through a lot of things, even if they are more extreme, there's things that a lot of us go through, be it being lonely. Most of this record, these people are spending all their time alone and kind of contemplating their decisions in life, and and basically their mind is being their worst enemy, which I think a lot of us, me in general, that's something I deal with a lot. I think when you're alone a lot, when you think too much, it can be a bad thing sometimes, and that's kind of where the Hypersleep Dialogues came from, just because it's kind of what's going on in their heads throughout the story. They're kind of on a journey to a place they don't really know yet, and they're connected in ways that they don't know yet. And I don't know, I think there's a lot of human characteristics that people can relate to, and even if you're not into that kind of thing, I think the music's interesting, and you can find other things to relate to, even if you don't want to dive into the lyrics.
Certainly. Now, something we do at the site, Tom, is we release in advance that we're going to have an interview and let fans, throw some questions at us they'd like to hear. And one of them that came into us from a listener called Bob Newhart is Hardcore. He wants to know why Between the Buried and Me has had such a great career in progressive metal while others remain pretty much underground.
I don't know. We work hard. I mean, I think we've always toured constantly, and we're prolific as far as writing. We write a lot and we get records out quickly, and I think we're down to earth people. I think people can relate to that. We're not afraid to speak to our fans, communicate with them. And I think when you come see us play live, you see 5 just regular musicians up on stage just enjoying what they do. And I think people see that passion. They see how much we love doing what we do, and I think they're drawn to that. And I don't know, I think a lot of bands, when things aren't going right, they give up, or they don't push forward. And I think with us, each record we really push ourselves and we try new things. And as far as the lineup goes, I think we become better friends and better players together with each record. And I think a lot of bands, it's the opposite. People get tired of each other, and it causes conflict. But with us, it hasn't at all. And I think that's a big factor that a lot of people don't hear or notice, because being in a band is like being in a family, and you have to get along with the people for things to work. And we're very fortunate in the fact that we get along really well and we work really well together.
And I think that comes across in the music for sure. I believe that wholeheartedly. If you could go back, say, 10, 11 years, Tommy, what would you say to the band 10 years ago that you've learned since?
Take your time. I don't know. I think, back then we just wanted to get our name out so fast. Some decisions are made quickly, and at that point we never thought we'd be where we are today. We still to this day we kind of go day by day. We've never been like, we're going to do this and this. These are our goals and these are what we're going to do. We've always kind of just done what we do and see what happens. And I think the music business is scary a lot of times, and there's certain times I wish we would have kind of sat back and kind of analyzed things a little more. But that's probably what I would tell myself. But as far as music, I'm very happy with what we've done. I have no regrets, and I hope we continue to do what we really love to do, and move forward and try new things, and hopefully the fans will be there with us along the way.
Now, with how hard you guys work, and you put a lot into what you do, you can tell, because it's very innovative. Do you find that progressive metal, although it shouldn't have a label, do you find it's getting stuck sounding the same with a lot of different bands?
Yeah, I think genres in general, everybody's always searching for genres, and I think there's all these little ways of genres that are popular at the moment, and there's always a good and bad thing. I think on a good standpoint, I think a lot of bands that are trying new things and doing cool things are being recognized, but at the same time there's a lot of bands just basically doing a style because they think that's what people want to hear. And that's kind of that defeats the whole purpose of writing music. I think you should write what you want to hear, what you want to be creative with, rather than what you think is going to make you money or make you be popular. But I don't know. Genres have always been kind of weird for me, just because I've never really understood why people need them so bad, and why everything has to be categorized so much. But I don't know. It's cool to see that there's a lot of metal bands, especially, that are pushing themselves and writing cool records. And hopefully that will continue to happen.
And especially as of late, we've seen like cellos introduced and fiddles and all kinds. Is there anything these days that you think is off limits as far as adding to metal?
I don't think so. No, I think that's the cool thing about metal, and it's been like that for years. I don't think it's now kind of slowly starting to be noticed. There's always been bands that have been doing off the wall stuff, and I don't know. I think you can find ways to be aggressive with all types of instruments, and I think it's cool, and it's liberating to try to do those things. But I think the key thing is finding your little, what makes your songs you. I think just kind of throwing random stuff in just to be weird or be off the wall, it sounds that way. But I think if it's done, if we write like a totally off the wall part, it's not because we're like, God, we need to do a part like that. It's because that naturally happened. When we were writing, that felt right for that moment in the song, and we felt that's where things needed to go. So I think that's the key. It's hard to kind of like, experimentation's rad, but I still think it's some form needs to still feel organic in some way.
I'll tell you, one of the things when doing our research, when I was doing the review of Hypersleep, I kept coming across the same set of wording when it referred to Between the Buried and Me, and it was that other groups strive to be as good as you guys are. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely flattering to hear things like that. I mean, I don't know how much truth there is in there, but I don't know. I mean, it's awesome. You know, the way I look at it is like, we've always been very into music and into bands, and we're influenced by a lot of people. And we look up to musicians. You know, we grew up to music, and you know, if there are bands that look up to us and want to better their band and themselves because of us, that's, you know, the greatest compliment we can ever have. Because that's why we play music, you know, and that's why we listen to music, is because we wanna inspire and we want to be inspired. So it's definitely, you know, that's one of the best compliments we could ever have.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna sign off here with a question that we've asked to everyone we've ever interviewed, and that was, living or dead, past or present, if you could share the stage with one band or one person, who would it be?
I'd probably want to meet. I would just want to see Freddie Mercury sing. That's me.
The greatest frontman in the history of the world.
Yep.
Well, I want to encourage everybody to, on April 12th, check out the Hypersleep Dialogues. Amazing new record by Between the Buried and Me. And thank you, Mr. Tommy Rogers, for doing this. We certainly appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.